Hello everybody, and welcome to the High Performance Garden Show. We are on week 29, so this garden is cruising along. We are almost done. We have 4 weeks left in this gardening season. And this is the week of our average first frost. So what that means is typically we will get a frost sometime this week in our region. And we actually did have a frost 2 nights ago. It wasn't very hard, and it hit selected gardens. So the winter squash, all the top leaves froze, but I think the squash is fine. The summer squash in another garden, it was totally fine. So yeah, it's time to start watching the weather. It's warmed up a few degrees, but I did actually see some frost this morning when I went out to feed the sheep. So I'm going to start watching the weather forecast, and if we get a prediction down to about 36 degrees Fahrenheit, I'm going to cover the warm weather plants. So I'm going to go ahead and put a cover up over the top of the trellises here so that we can protect those and see if we can get them through the next 4 weeks. I typically won't cover the cold weather plants until it gets down, the prediction is down around 26 degrees Fahrenheit. The cold weather plants can actually take a frost to be just fine. So the days are getting shorter and shorter, and we'll just see how long we can keep this garden going. Usually it's pretty easy to keep it going about 4 weeks past the average first frost date with just a few covers. So all right, we're going to go ahead and get started this morning, and we're going to start in the tomatoes. First thing I see is some suckers. Very common for the plants to make some suckers when we take the tops out. So we're going to get those first. And I do see a few aphids on these suckers, so I have mixed up some spray, and today we're just going to use Safer Soap, which is basically a smothering action. So what happens is you spray it on the bug, it clogs all his pores, he suffocates and dies. So it's not like we're putting any poison or anything. If you find that that's not working and you need to up the game a little bit, then try the Safer Soap with the pyrethrum in it. So all I did was mix up a batch, just follow the directions on the package. And you have to actually hit the bug. So we're going to come in here, look for aphids. Where did I see some? Oh, there was some right here. And some right in there. Oop, hi spider. I'll be careful and not get you. Although I don't think we could kill a spider with this stuff. It is, like I said, you have to smother the bug. And spiders are pretty big, so they're hard to smother. Okay, that's about all there is. I just want to hit the hot spots. And then I do have some of our sluggo. I am not seeing very many roly-polies or the earwigs, but I just want to keep up with it. And let's go ahead and harvest a little bit. This poor plant, this is the one that's kind of weird. Was weird from the start. It continues to be weird. But we can eat some fruit off of it. Okay, ooh, look at those beauties. Let's get that one. And that one. They're cold this morning. I can feel it. At the house it said 41 degrees, but there was frost out in the garden. That's only about 50 yards from here. So I know it's getting really close. The frosty weather will it'll slow everything down. Hopefully not take everything out. But we'll keep an eye on the weather, and then we'll know when to cover. And if we cover and it doesn't freeze, so what? Okay, there's something else that I saw in this garden because I am being observant today. And I saw, so I dropped a tomato. Down in here, there is a little bitty seedling, and it is actually a firecracker lettuce seed. Not an actual M80. It's a firecracker lettuce seed, and it's up about this high. It's just really, really tiny. but it's bright red and beautiful. And that's a really good sign for us, because that's telling us that the seeds that we were creating on our firecracker plant are actually good. They're viable, they're germinating. I see one here and I saw two on the floor, and there's about 6 of them in the pot with a firecracker. So I'm really excited about that. We're going to work with our seeds a little bit later today. So anyways, back to the tomatoes. But I'm going to let these little, there's actually was 2 little firecracker plants grow right here in the tomatoes. Okay, so there's our tomato harvest for today. I don't need to feed them. They're trimmed up, killed a few bugs. I think we're ready to move on to the turnips. Okay, down here in the turnips, we have some beauties today. Look at that. That's what we're looking for, and what we will do is we will eat the bulbs and we will eat the tops. We got 4 weeks left in this garden, so I want to harvest some every week. So I'm going to take the bigger ones out today. And I'm going to get enough for the week, what my family will probably eat. And then we'll gather some each week. You can eat them at any size. I mean, I've even seen them as big as softballs, and they're just fine. And the other thing that I know about these guys is I have actually pulled them up in the fall and stored them in some sawdust in the root cellar, and we could eat them throughout the winter. So when we have extras at the end of the show, we'll go ahead and pull those up and put them in the root cellar, and then we'll have those for later. Okay, let's see if I can get a couple more. Oops. Okay, I think that'll make a nice meal. Leave the tops and the bottoms, and that's a good harvest of turnips. Okay, I didn't see any bugs. Nothing I need to do. I don't need to feed them or anything. So turnips are good. We're just going to let them do their things. Keep an eye out for weeds, which I actually see one. Okay, there, we're weeded. Good. And let's move on down to the cucumbers. Okay, in the cucumber department, I do see a few leaves that are getting a little crispy crunchy in here. Those are the older leaves. I'm not worried about them. What I'm worried about is what do the tips look like. Here's a tip. This tip is absolutely gorgeous. I got blossoms, I got fruits. I can show you this right here today. So on a cucumber you get male and female flowers. So this is a female flower. This one's just opening today, and it has the fruit on it. And this one here is a male flower, and if you look at its stem, it doesn't have any fruit on it. Now this particular variety doesn't need a pollinator, so I don't actually need the male flowers. This one will make fruit even without that, but typically most cucumbers you need the male and the female, and then the bee will cross-pollinate that. So anyways, nice looking tip. Not seeing any spider mites. I think we might be in the clear. We only got 4 weeks to go. As it gets colder and colder, the spider mites, they tend to go dormant anyways. They like it warm. So we're probably in the clear for that. All right, let's get a harvest. We'll start with this big boy. There we go. Make some more quick pickles. Okay, I did see another one. Yes, another big one. What I've noticed with these guys is even if they're big, they still taste really, really good. And the seeds are not too bad in them. Now we fed everything last week, so that should carry us clear to the end. There's another one. And I know these guys will be slowing down as the days are shorter and the nights are cold. We'll just see how far along we can get them. As far as frost protection, my warm weather plants are my tomatoes, my cucumbers, my zucchinis, my winter squash. I think that's it in the garden right now. So if I have to cover, I need to know which plants to cover. And I need to have something on hand. So you need to have some towels or some heavy sheets. Flannel sheets would work, bedspreads, things like that. Any more? What about that guy? Yeah, that's a good one. Whoa, hello. There's a nice one. Any more? As I'm looking for cucumbers, I'm also looking for bugs. That's just part of our habit anymore, isn't it? One's too small. Oh, how about this guy? That's a nice one. Okay. Cucumber harvest in. There we go. I guess 10 pounds. All right. We'll weigh that later and see what we did get. Okay, down to the zucchinis. And I do see some nice ones hanging here. Still looking for squash bugs. Haven't seen any in a while. They either ran away or we put them all in the party jar. But you want to keep a vigilant eye. You don't want a population to build up. They will winter over. I actually went down to my wood shed. It was like in January after it had been freezing every night. And I went down there to pick up some wood, and there was a squash bug, and it was totally alive. It was sleepy for sure, but yeah, it was going to winter over in my wood shed, and then it was going to walk back out into my garden. So we don't want any wintering over. So keep an eye out. Keep squishing them. Put them in the party jar. I thought I saw another one up here. Yes. Now you'll see less and less squash pollinating this time of year. Let me show you an example. Okay, as it gets colder, you're going to get squash that don't pollinate. So this had a female flower on it. It was too cold or something. The bees weren't out that day. We didn't get any pollination, and then the fruit, it just dies back. So this is not edible to us. The chickens will love it. It's amazing what chickens will eat, isn't it? Anything we don't want, man, they go for. They'll devour that in a minute. Anyways, so you're going to see more and more of this as the cold comes on. You'll also maybe see some powdery mildew growing on the leaves. So you want to try to keep your plants as dry as possible going into the night. So make sure you just water underneath. And I see a weed today. Okay, got that. And we should get a few more zucchinis here. Let's check this plant in the back. Also remember, look for squash bugs. Whoa, some more noodles. It's really nice of my zucchini plant to grow me noodles. Looky there. Excuse me. Another batch of noodles. So one of the ways that I make noodles out of this is I have this, it looks like a peeler, and it's got like teeth on one side. You can get them in any store. And I think it's called a julienne slicer maybe. And I just rake it down the side, and it comes off in little thin strips. And I just keep going down the side until I hit the seed cavity. So I'm peeling all the green and then the white flesh underneath with this peeler until I just get this big mound on my cutting board. And then the centerpiece has got the seeds, because they're a little bigger in these, that I feed to the chickens. The chickens really like that. So that's how I'm getting all these noodles out of my zucchini. I'll try to remember to bring the peeler out one of these days. It just looks like a peeler with teeth on it. Okay, let's see if I got any more zucchini. I bet I do. Okay, one more set of noodles. That one was hidden way underneath. Okay, squash bugs. And we're looking so clean. Beautiful. Love it. Hopefully I win. I'm not going to brag about it until these plants are in the compost pile. There are a few seeds right there. The nice thing about the cold weather is everything will grow slower, including the bugs. One more zucchini. Okay, I think that's it for our harvest. I'm going to put these eggs in the jar. One stinky party jar. Don't breathe when you open it. And I did see a weed. Oh, it's a big weed today because I hadn't been noticing it. Okay. Zucchini's done. This garden is taken care of. We're going to go ahead and go to the broccoli. Okay, here we are in the broccoli, and this stuff is still going to town. I think as we keep feeding it, it's just putting out, and this stuff is so good. Basically, all we're doing is feeding it, spraying the BT once a week, watching for aphids. That's about it. So it's not really hard. So I'm going to go ahead and get a nice harvest today. See if we can get enough for a meal or two. Looks like we can. Okay, here we are with our broccoli harvest. These are the florets that are still tight, and then I have the ones that are blooming, which I'm going to use in a different dish. Those we'll just put right on top just as we're finished cooking our stir fry. So anyhow, this is like equal to another head of broccoli off of these 6 plants. So it's really putting out again. Look at that one. So very happy with my broccoli. It's been a fantastic crop this year. Okay. Next is our kale. And the kale is liking the cooler weather. It'll grow in the hot, but it's liking the cooler weather. I'm watching for aphids. I have my spray bottle if I need it. I'm going to look on the back sides of the leaves. That's where the aphids will congregate first. I am not seeing any yet. So hopefully we'll be in the clear. Sometimes they'll congregate down on the new growth too, right in the center of the plant. That's another place to look. So you need to be really observant when you're in an organic garden, because you're not just going to have nasty chemicals that you can come through here and just obliterate everything that grows. So anyhow, be observant and you'll get more food. All right, here's our kale for the week. I'm guessing there's about 3/4 pound, which is awesome. I will eat that this week. I love that for dinner. Kale is good for dinner. I'm standing kind of weird because the winter squash has grown down the aisle and is clear to the broccoli now. And I don't want to step on any little babies, so anyhow, we'll yield to the squash today. Okay, our next crop is our Joy Choy. I'm so excited to have this back. What a great breakfast food. And I'm going to go ahead and get a nice harvest here. No sign of the flea beetles. We've been using that Captain Jack's, I think it's called Dead Bug Brew or something like that. And it has the spinosad in it, and that seems to control flea beetles pretty good. So I'm happy for that. And that goes on about once a week right now. Now remember, if you want to control once a week, if you want to try to eliminate, you need to be spraying twice a week. Okay, here's our Joy Choy for the week. We're nearing a pound here. This is awesome. I'm so excited for that. What I find is that if I don't have the greens in the fridge, you know, like especially in the morning, I'm not eating them well. So this week I didn't take enough home and I didn't eat as many greens as I should. So get them washed, get them in the fridge, get them ready to go, and you'll find yourself eating a whole lot more. Okay, Joy Joy. Next, Swiss chard. It's just cranking right along. We're going to pick these smaller leaves so that they're not so tough and chewy. This is a much better plan. So we'll just come through here and get what's ready to go. Not a whole lot of things bother Swiss chard, thank goodness. So we'll just happily harvest and just be observant. Okay, here's our Swiss chard for the week. There's probably about 1/3 of a pound there, so that's pretty good. So we'll set that aside. I noticed that there is a winter squash. It's sitting very heavily down into the soil, and I was wanting one this week to eat. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest this one. See if I can get it off of here. Need my pruners. See if I can pop the top. Yep, I can pop the top. Okay, there he is. See, you can see how deep he was sitting in the soil. That can cause them to rot. He's still pretty solid, but I was wanting one for dinner anyways. These are really, really good. If you peel the skin off and then you shred them and then you fry them in some oil, just like hash browns. So good. So we can harvest a little bit off of these every now and again. I'll probably wait till we get to the end of the season for most of them, but yeah, this will be part of my dinners this week. Okay, so let's take a look at this squash. I did pull a few leaves off of it, the brown leaves, just to kind of tidy it up a little bit. I'm going to go on the other side here. And it is taking over the aisle. It's just trying to grow into the lettuce. I just need to redirect a few of these stems. I know that we're seeing some brown leaves through here, but all the tips are looking good. If you look here, look how beautiful the tip is. So plant is happy. It's just transferring some of the nutrients from the older leaves to the newer leaves, and they do that. I have not really seen squash bugs in here or eggs in a long time, which thrills me to no end because the squash bugs could take down this entire thing. It's just happily growing along. And I did see, way deep down inside, remember that zucchini plant that's in there? It actually has a zucchini on it. Hey, baby. Let's get you out of there. Okay, whew, got our morning stretches, didn't we? That sucker's growing in the dirt. Okay, got a zucchini out of the patch here. Kind of our little bonus plant, isn't it? We fed these guys last week. Mostly it's just stand back, redirect. They're clear in the aisle here, they're clear in the aisle there, and that's fine because the more leaves we got, the more energy that the plant has and the more squash that it can make. And in 4 weeks we're going to be pulling the whole thing out and getting all the squash harvested. So we're just going to let her be, let it keep making food. Okay, next is our lettuce. See if we can even get to it. Our squash. First thing I want to do is go ahead and get our harvest. So I'm going to start right here with some lettuce. Okay, here's our lettuce for the week. There's probably about 3/4 of a pound, so that's really good this time of year. So that'll be delicious. I'll put my zucchini in there. Okay, now we look at these lettuce seeds. They are just popping up. I do see a few aphid on them, so I want to give them a little squirt with my soap. Also, these red ones are going to seed. You can see this big guy, he's really stretching up here. He's got flowers coming. But this is not where we want to grow seed, because this is going to get big and obnoxious. It's going to take up our space. If you want to grow seed like we did, put it in a different pot. And also this plant, you know, we've harvested on it, so it doesn't have its full strength to make the very best seeds. So we're just going to take these out, and then next week when we transplant our lettuce, I'm just going to go a little further over into that section. And that's just this plant's reaction to the summer. It tends to bolt a little faster than the other varieties. Oops, okay. All right, so I have my, and these I'm just gonna coat everybody just a little bit. You want to do this in the cool of the morning or the cool of the evening, not in the middle of the day. And you got to hit the bug to actually do any damage, so go on both sides. I don't know if there's any on these, I didn't see much, but since we got it and we're here, so down in the center, both sides. Come in at a different angle here. Smells kind of good. It smells like soap. Okay, there's a good coating on that. So that should hopefully take care of the aphids. The best thing would be to come back midweek, you know, 3 or 4 days from now, do it again, and just repeat that a couple different times, and usually you can wipe them out pretty quickly. Okay, next we're going to look at our firecracker seeds. These are the ones that we took off the plant, and if you look at the plant, it is going to go again. We're going to get a whole second crop of seeds, which is super exciting. So these have been in my pillowcase. They've been in the house, and you can probably hear they are very, very crispy, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for crispiness. So the next stage that we want is we're just going to take these where the seeds are, and we're just going to start rubbing that. Probably knocking a bunch of seed in my garden. And the goal is to get the seeds to come loose from the seed, the little seed capsules. Let's see if I can find one. Oh, that's dusty. Okay, so let me find a better one. Here we go. So these are the little seed capsules. They're like dandelion seeds, so they come up, they have the fuzzies on the end. And if you break those open, down at the end of the fuzzy things, just like a dandelion, you get the lettuce seed. That one didn't have very many. Let me find another one. Some will have more than others. Yeah, that one's had a lot. Okay, so the lettuce seed is here. This is a lettuce seed here. Sometimes you can just gently blow. See there? Move the chaff away, and the seeds are left behind. So what our goal here is to get all of these little things kind of broke up and get all the seed and the smaller chaff collected in the bottom of the bin. And then the next thing that we want to do with this is we want to do a seed germination test. Now, some seeds, especially like perennial seeds, they will not germinate until they've had a cold period. So what happens is like a perennial seed and some other seeds, you need to put them in the refrigerator. So we would take them from here, we would go into the refrigerator for about 4 weeks. You can even put them in the freezer. And then you would bring them out and then do a germination test on them. Lettuce seed is not that way. As we witnessed, I already have firecracker coming up in the tomatoes. I have new firecracker coming up in the tub there, and I also saw some in this garden as well. So yeah, take your time, get this all crunched up. And just keep working it. You might want gloves, it's a little bit sharp. Okay, so let's say that was all done. And then what we got is this stuff. And this is the stuff that contains the seeds and also a little more chaff. So then at this point, you're gonna blow. Sometimes I use a fan. Woo. And as you can see, I'm starting to get a pile of clean seed in my hand. So that's the next step. And then these seeds we want to take and do a seed germination test. So what I'm going to do is take 10 of these seeds and I'm going to put them between 2 wet paper towels on a plate, and I'm going to put it in the kitchen where I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day so that I can watch these seeds. Now what I want to do is keep the paper towel moist. In our climate, I have to moisten it probably twice a day. Just depends on your climate. And then I'm going to count the seeds. So if I get 10 out of 10, then I have 100% germination. If I get 5 out of 10, then I have a 50% germination. As long as the seed germinates, then you got a viable plant. So it's not like, oh, 50% germinated, so the plants are no good. No. It's either yes or no. I germinated or I didn't. The percentages is just so that you know how thick to plant your seeds. So at 100% germination, I'm going to plant my seeds a little further apart than I would at a 50% germination. So that's all that percentage is for. So look at those beautiful seeds. That is so exciting. So hopefully between this, the plant's next generation here, and I have about 100 plants out in one of my other gardens, we'll have enough firecracker seed for the next year. So anyways, you know, find a nice quiet afternoon, work your seeds down, just keep working that until you can get the seeds to pop loose from the chaff. Okay, I went in the house and I got some paper towels so I could show you how this works to germinate the seeds. So I got 2 paper towels. There's one on the bottom, one on the top. I put 20 seeds in here. Now if you don't know what the seeds look like, open a seed packet or get online and get a picture of the seeds so that you're not throwing away your seeds when you're blowing the chaff out. But if you're blowing really gently, sometimes I even use a little fan or something, or I'll go outside if the wind's blowing slightly. The seed will fall to the bottom typically. So anyways, so I got 20 seed in there. And so I'm going to keep this at the dinner table and keep it moist, and I'll let you know in about a week to 10 days exactly what our germination rate is for this lettuce seed. Okay, so that is our firecracker. Okay, that's firecracker seeds. Now let's take a look at our harvest. So for our kale, we had 0.73 pounds. Our Swiss chard, we had 0.43 pounds. The broccoli, we had 0.79 pounds. The zucchini, there was 17.25 pounds. I will have a lot of noodles this week. The lettuce, there was 0.7 pounds. The cucumbers, there was 12.4 pounds, so a lot of quickles this week. Joy choy, 0.62 pounds. The tomatoes, there was 4.75 pounds. The turnips, there was 0.66 pounds. And the turnip greens, there was 0.4 pounds. And that winter squash weighed 3.67 pounds. So all total this week, our savings was $114.95. So this garden is still rocking it out. So our year-to-date savings is $2,423.37. So to reach our goal of $2,990, we only have $566.63 left to go, and we have 4 weeks to do that in, but I have confidence in this garden. We'll see what it produces. So the garden gives us so much more than just great food. The 29th gift my garden gives me is security. As we venture into the fall, the pantry, the freezer, the root cellar, they would be full of this year's bounty. I don't know what next year will bring, hopefully good times, but even if it brings bad times, I know that I can feed my family without going to the store. So the grocery store is optional for us, and I want to keep it that way. I feel so blessed to know that we have grown this food and can eat from the bounty of our garden all year round. So have you enjoyed the garden show? We would like you to help us continue this educational outreach program. We are not selling any advertising or doing any fundraising. Instead, I would like to invite you, our extended farm family, to join us in the ultimate win-win situation with a holiday sale. The sale starts October 10th, and we will have plenty of farm products handmade from our people flock. So here's a sneak peek at some of the products we are making especially for you. Now last week we showed you the amazing wool pillows and the wool willow wood stools. And I've been busy in the felt studio this week, and I want to show you the line of scarves and mittens that we will have for sale this year. If you want to be warm this winter, then you will love having a pair of these warm wool mittens, and you can get a scarf to match. And these make great gift sets for anyone in a cold climate. There's nothing like the warmth of wool to keep you warm. The scarves and mittens are handmade with the wool from our flock. So check out the website for our sizes and choices. So let me show you what we do have today. Okay, for our scarves, these are some of our beautiful scarves that the staff and I have been making. And this is our pink and purple one. And this one we call camo. So this could be boys or girls. This is a fun one. And this one is called Fiesta. This is an extra fun one. It's like a party all in itself. It's the party scarf. And then this one we call Ocean. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful blue. And then to match that, we are making our mittens. So we have our Ocean mittens. Beautiful. And we have our pinks and purples. And we have our Fiesta mittens and our camo mittens. And these things are great. They have a cotton cuff on them so that you get the tightness around there. And they will warm your fingers like no other. If you've never worn wool, you're going to be amazed. The synthetics don't hold a candle to wool. These are hand wash. You just hand wash them, lay them flat to dry. They can take a lot of water. They are great for the kids. We'll have kid sizes and adult sizes. So, you know, check it out and see what you like. So each purchase that you make helps to support the garden show and the Living Farm staff and the sheep flock. So each purchase makes a huge difference to us. So please check your holiday gift list to see if there's anyone on your list that would love to have a pair of mittens and maybe a scarf to match. And we really want to thank you in advance for your purchases. It means a lot to us, and it means that we can continue this show. So check it out, see what you like. You know, you could wear all four at once. It's getting really hot in here. Can you think of 3 people in your life who have wanted to start a garden but haven't had the support they need? So send them to thelivingfarm.org to sign up today for these free garden shows. So until next time, may your garden be easy, fun, productive, and always organic.